Halftime, baby. And we are here continuing episode 81 of the Losing Sucks Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm still Dustin. That's still Travis. There's still football. Let's get into it. Rolling right along. Travis, let's talk San Francisco and Atlanta.
Let's do it.
All right.
In Atlanta.
I would also suggest that you turn on your big boy microphone.
That's a good call.
That is what I'm gonna suggest that for our listeners, for myself. There we go. There we go. San Francisco, Atlanta. Well, there's gonna be a football game there. Let's talk about it. So the 49ers. You're going to want to start these guys. Atlanta is awful on defense. But the question is, Travis, how awful are they? Well, I'll tell you. They give up, just in terms of PPR points, they give up 20-plus performances everywhere. Running back, quarterback, wide receiver. They've given up big games to Tyler Higbee, Taysom Hill. Not really fair. He's a wildcat, but
I thought we had a rule every time we say Taysom Hill on this show.
Oh shoot, yeah, you're right. The Kool-Aid Man.
We will not move on. We will not move on until you play the Taysom Hill soundbite. That is a rule. It needs to become second nature.
All right, Taysom Hill.
And his name is John C.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun, and he is going to not be in this game, but. San Francisco, you're going to want to start George Kittle in this game. You're going to want to start Ayuk and Debo, all your guys. And Jeff Wilson, for sure, in this game. He's been getting a ton of volume. He is a hammer. Everything is a nail to him.
Yeah.
But we know about it. We know about the weapons in San Francisco. Let's talk about Atlanta, because this is where it's not a given that each guy's going to be a producer for you. We really have to break down who's going to be relevant in this game. We talked about Kyle Pitts just a couple seconds ago, right before we went live. I don't think he's someone that you can really count on, even though he said he's going to play. The 49ers have been good against the tight end, and Tyler Higbee's really been the only one that has produced against the San Francisco defense. Travis, what are your thoughts on Kyle Pitts in this game, or any of the passing options in Atlanta?
I think you start Drake London just based on volume. He'll be fine as a wide receiver 3. Kyle Pitts, if you have another option, I'm starting another option. But if you don't, if it's between Pitts and like an Irv Smith level, I would go Pitts. But if you have anything near Higbee, obviously Goddard.
For sure.
I think I would still go Pitts over somebody like Dawson Knox, but he's definitely outside the top 8.
Really? You go Pitts over Knox, huh?
I think so.
Who do the Bills have
if he's healthy? If he's healthy, the Bills have the Chiefs. But Knox has been completely non-existent, so we'll see.
You know who else has been non-existent? Pitts.
True.
But no, I don't blame you.
San Francisco's going to murder them. I really don't want any part of the Atlanta offense. If I can avoid him, I would. But what about Jimmy G? Over under 20 points.
Over.
I like it. Jags Colts. Let's do it.
Jags Colts. This game is not being played in Jacksonville, so Indianapolis has a chance. Let's talk about the running backs, because that's really what we want to start off with. We'll start with Jacksonville. You have Etienne and Robinson. This dichotomy is ever evolving each and every week. Etienne taking on a more prominent role, having more, even close to equal snaps, same rushing attempts, more targets, more efficiency, all this other good stuff. I think you can still... I don't know that how are you feeling? I want to get your take on this. I don't know how I'm feeling about James Robinson yet, but how are you feeling about this backfield? We know how we feel about Jonathan Taylor.
I think it's a rough week for James Robinson. Indy defense, their run D is legit, 4th fewest yards allowed. I think it leads to a dink and dunk ETN type week. And ETN showed that he was good out of the backfield too, not just catching passes. So it's taken longer than we thought. James Robinson came out of the gate really hot, but maybe ETN keeps this momentum, finds a way to get around 80 to 90 total yards. If he can get 45 to 50 through the air again, I think he's got a shot at 80 to 90 yards. Maybe he falls in the end zone for the first time.
Wow.
I'm playing ETN. I'm scared of James Robinson. A lot of people are just going to roll him out anyway, but I'm not expecting a huge game from either of these guys.
Fair enough. How about the pass catchers? Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Marvin Jones. Are you interested in the tight ends in Jacksonville?
Not really. Evan Ingram showed some flashes. He got volume last week. I think it was just taking what they were given, but
I will say though, Indy has given up points.
Game.
Indy has given up points to the tight end in touchdowns. So I think that if you need a tight end streamer, Evan Ingram is someone who I'd be interested in streaming. He's seen some target volume. Michael Pittman
I don't
against.
Hate it.
Like I said, we don't talk about Jonathan Taylor, but Michael Pittman is someone who we do need to see how he's doing. What is the pulse on this guy? Because this has kind of been an up and down year against this Jaguars defense. What are we thinking on Michael Pittman?
You got to start him for what you spend on him.
Sure.
I think you got to get him out there. I think, I don't think he gets to 100, but I think he has a nice day, probably 70 to 75 yards and a score.
Yeah, this is a guy who's only seen 100 air yards once this season so far.
You drafted him to be matchup proof. You pretty much have to roll him out and just hope for the best right now.
For sure. Yeah, he's been struggling for sure, but you have to roll him out there.
Do we both think Indy wins this game?
I think Indy wins it, but I don't think it's going to be a barn burner. I think it's going to be one of these teams, or I think Indy's going to win it. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be this super. Okay, now you caught me in a weird thing. Just real quick. It depends on which Trevor Lawrence we get. If we get good Trevor Lawrence, I'm here for it. But if not, if we see the super conservative, mishaps all over the field, I don't think that the offense for Indy is prolific enough to just win on its own. So it's going to take some work from Trevor Lawrence to lose this game if that happens. So that's where I'll leave it.
All right.
Patriots and Browns. The game won on the ground, I guess. We know that Damian Harris is out, so it's fully Ramondre Stevenson season. And Jacoby Myers is getting the volume each and every time he's on the field. So that's kind of, for me personally, that's where it ends for the Patriots offense. I'm not like with the third string quarterback Bailey Zappi, even showing it a little bit of proficiency here and there, but I think it ends at Ramondre Stevenson and Jacoby Myers for me. On the Browns side of the ball, though, I think we have some questions to answer because you're going to start Chubb and Hunt, I think, and I think you're going to be starting Amari Cooper. The splits at away and home for Amari Cooper are wild. Yeah. So I guess really, Travis, are there any questions that you have in this game? It seems pretty straightforward. Maybe David Njoku. Are you thinking about streaming him at all?
This is how I feel about this matchup. Bill Belichick has notoriously taken away the number one weapon. That number one weapon is clearly
Nick Chubb,
but really just the running game in general for Cleveland. That box is going to be packed, and they've given up 128 yards to opposing running backs. They can't afford to do that against Nick Chubb. So I think they pack the box. So maybe that allows for Amari Cooper to give you one of those 7 or 8 catch games. Cooper's if you have Amari Cooper, you're starting him. I'm not afraid of Amari at all.
I think Cooper's going to have a couple touchdowns in this game. I think that it just feels like.
Oh, nice. I think Browns win.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Let's move on though to the Panthers and the Rams. Travis, this is a must-have game. I have here on our show sheet that this is a break glass game. But it's also the break glass happens just to be a box made of solid steel. That for not just for the guy I have listed, but for all of the Rams' weapons. Look, you have to have this game against a beat up, broken. I don't know if there's necessarily a narrative for we fired a head coach, change of culture, lots of energy infused. I think if you're the Rams and you're at home against a terrible Carolina team, you have to have this game, and you have to have it handily. Travis, for me, on the Rams side of the ball for the weapons, if this is either a get right or get the hell out game, because if you can't get it in this game, you're not going to get it, in my opinion,
their schedule
in any other game.
It's terrible.
Like, you should really abandon all hope if you don't get it in this game. Let's talk about the Panthers because they're more intriguing to me. Are you touching any of the weapons other than CMC?
I don't need to. There's actually one spot that if you could tell me, should I start Robbie Anderson or Marvin Jones, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, I would go Robbie Anderson.
Okay.
Solely
if
for
they're both
the fact
dart
that
throws, you might as well.
PJ Walker targets Robbie Anderson on 28% of his throws so far. So I think that plus the number 2 wide receiver narrative against the Rams, I like it. I like if I have to like something on the Panther side, that's what I would like.
Maybe he finds a way to force DJ the ball some, but yeah, PJ, he has nothing to lose. Why not take deep shots to Robbie every now and then?
Chuck it downfield, man. A more intriguing matchup, the Seahawks and the Cardinals, 2 electric quarterbacks who we knew would be at the top of the league this year, in Geno Smith and Kyler Murray.
Yes.
Look, we got to talk about them because there are some developing storylines for the Cardinals, at least. We're not yet into the DeAndre Hopkins returning narrative, but we are into the Eno Benjamin emerging narrative. James Conner banged up. We had maybe seen this coming, hopefully, and not hopefully, but here and there we knew he was banged up, it was going to happen. Eno Benjamin finally gets his chance against a let's call it vulnerable Seahawks defense. The Eno Benjamin narrative. What are your thoughts? Have you paid any attention to it? What do you think?
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think he was a great waiver pickup. Our boy Jared killed it with the waiver wire picks last week. He's got Eno on his list this week.
He's doing a great job.
I feel like Eno in this matchup has a lot of room to contribute to this offense. I will be talking a lot of Cardinals and Seahawks in just a few minutes, but I'm very excited for this game. We say shootout about a lot of matchups. This one really feels like that.
For sure. Seahawks have given up 4 20-plus point PPR performances to running backs, so I am here for it.
Yeah, get him in there. He's a nice flex this week for sure.
Absolutely.
Who wins
on the
this
other
game?
side of the ball.
Cardinals, Seahawks?
Look, I'm gonna say bold. It's in Seattle. I think Seattle wins.
I think so too. Cardinals are just a mess right now. They give you fantasy points, but
yeah,
as far as NFL game management, it's been atrocious.
Are you starting Kenneth Walker this week?
Absolutely. I'll get to him in a second.
Awesome. Perfect. Let's talk Bills and Chiefs. 2 big offenses. They're not fighting for a spot in the Super Bowl, but that's okay. This is going to be fine. It's in Kansas City. We know the weapons. We know the names. Let's talk about the narratives. Let's talk about guys you're going to be in your lineup. We don't have to talk about Stephon Diggs. Don't have to talk. We don't. Yeah. Well, let's break that down. The guys that I really want to compare and contrast. Devin Singletary. You've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's like the Spider-Man meme. Talk to me about these guys and what you're doing with them. Because
I'm getting them. I'm starting Singletary. I'm starting CH.
Holy cow! Really?
Yeah, I think I'm expecting 30 to 30 in this game. So
okay. I don't. This is the one time I'm not going to throw a wet blanket on the fire matchup. This is a matchup I think both of these teams are going to want to throw haymakers. And I think
there will be very few field goals kicked in this game. Both sides will be going for it, making statements. Playmakers will show up and make plays.
For sure.
And yeah, I mean, guys like McKinnon and who else? Pacheco, Zach Moss, James Cook. I'm staying away from those guys. But your starters, I'm getting in there. I'm just really excited for that game. It's definitely the game of the week. The 1A at least.
Yes.
1B is Cowboys versus Eagles in Philly.
Absolutely. We're lucky enough to have had conversations with guys like the Drunk on Broad podcast. Fun, die-hard Eagles fans. Love their energy. Love the Eagles' energy because right now this team just feels like it's gritty, it's tough, and it plays a fun style of football. Jalen Hurts is the epitome of this offense, running and flashy plays. We know about the weapons. The storyline we have been following all year is who is going to be the guy that has the favor of Jalen Hurts. This game is in Philly. Is it going to be Devontae Smith? Is it going to be A.J. Brown? Is it going to be Dallas Goedert? We know Miles Sanders is going to get touches. Are you starting all of these guys? Because that's my question. I feel like you have to.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't sit anybody, but somebody in Philly is going to get the short end. We've seen this every week now. I don't know who it will be. I have on here to ask you who you think it will be, but I'm not even going to put that on you. Let's just enjoy this game, and we'll see which weapon in Philly gets the short end of the stick here. Sure. But you've got matchups. You've got CD and Slay. You've got A.J. Brown versus Trayvon Diggs. Parsons getting after Jalen Hurts. I can't wait for this game. I think my gut says Brett Maher at the buzzer. CD shows up big, goes over 100 and a score, maybe 2.
Wow, that's interesting. I think that the Eagles dominate this game.
Wow. Okay, I can't wait to revisit
I feel
this
like they
one.
absolutely destroy the Cowboys.
All right, take me to Monday night.
Monday Night Football, Broncos and Chargers. This one's a fun one for the sole purpose of one of these defenses actually playing really well. The Broncos are doing very, very good against a multitude of positions. They've given up one big fantasy performance to Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams in one game. Other than that, they've kept people relatively quiet all year, Travis.
Yep.
Their counterparts on this day, the Chargers, have hemorrhaged points to the running back position. They've hemorrhaged points to the wide receiver position. They've let quarterbacks like Trevor Lawrence trounce them. I'm okay starting weapons against the Chargers now. That's been
Russ?
the fact. Don't ask me about Russ.
The thing with Russ is he may do well, and you may be forced to start him. But
He's
it
riding
is
the bench until he proves it,
impossible-
though.
Yeah,
He's
it's
riding the bench.
impossible to root for him.
There are other options.
It's impossible right now.
But breaking down narratives for the Chargers, Keenan Allen might play, so I think that automatically relegates Josh Palmer to the bench, even if he should have been off your starting roster just for the last few games. But this automatically plants in deeper leagues a spot on the bench. Mike Williams, what are your thoughts on him with Keenan possibly returning then in this game against a tough Denver defense?
I think he'll be all right. I'm not expecting a monster game from Williams or Eckler. Broncos defense has been really stout. They've given up the fewest fantasy points per game to receivers. So it'll be a battle, but I want a big physical guy like that in a battle like that. So I will take Mike Williams to still give you 75 yards and a score. He's just so hard to stop. And the other thing I'll be watching in this one is Mike Boone versus Melvin Gordon. Melvin dealing with 2 injuries, did not practice today.
Oh, I didn't
think
see that.
they're just frustrated with Melvin Gordon. He feels it. He almost lost another fumble last week. He was barely down.
Oh, boy.
And Mike Boone, when he got the ball, looked really good. So I think this is I think it could become a slow Mike Boone 60-40 deal if they keep losing faith with Melvin and maybe he gets hurt.
Oh, goodness. All right.
Mike Boone, I think Mike Boone will be well worth the fab spin on him because I think a lot of people spin up for him and he didn't get, workhorse volume, but I think that he will start to be worth the money.
I like it. Travis, we said we were going to do one thing, and we did another.
Yes.
And I think we have something. I don't see it. I was looking for a certain drop, but it's not here. Look, it's not dead yet. We're bringing back the big pick, so let's bring them on. It's not over yet. Travis, hit me with your Week 6 big pick of the week at the quarterback position.
All right, it's going to be Kyler Murray. I think it's the first 30-point week of the season for Kyler. Seattle absolutely gives it up to every position right now. 22.6 points per game to opposing quarterbacks. Bottom 10 in the league. With James Conner out, I'm expecting a few more designed runs for Kyler Murray like we saw in the second half last week, which always contributes immediately to bigger fantasy days. Ertz, Hollywood Brown, Rondale, combined with Kyler's legs, I think will be all you need to have a really nice 25 to 30 point day for Kyler Murray. I'm excited to have him in my lineup this week and watch this game.
I love it. My quarterback big pick of the week is Tom Brady, the GOAT himself. He is facing a Swiss cheese-esque Pittsburgh defense who gives up points to every single position on the field for fantasy. No one scores points without Tom Brady say so, and that is why he is my big pick of this week. Moving on to the running back position. We just talked about this game. I did not know about the injury status. I should have looked into it, but I have Melvin Gordon. I'm willing to swap it out just for Denver running backs.
Okay, I like it.
The Chargers do not stop the running back. They don't even realize that the other team has running backs. They just let them score. And for the last 3 weeks, they are one of the top position scored against on the Chargers. So I'm going to go with Melvin Gordon / Mike Boone / guy wearing orange jersey in this one.
C.J. Anderson. All right.
C.J. Anderson, bring him in.
Kenneth Walker for me as my running back big pick. So long, Rashad Penny. Hello, KW the third. 3 down back. He will clearly be a workhorse the rest of the year as long as he's healthy on an offense that is rolling and whose defense is terrible. So he does not come off the field. I don't expect to see much of anybody else. Arizona just gave up 139 yards on the ground last week. Kenneth Walker has a really nice debut for you this week.
I love that. Hit us with your tight end, Travis.
Tight end, wow, switching it up. George Kittle, of all people. Everybody's very angry at George Kittle right now.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you read between the lines, he led the 49ers in targets last week. They want to get him involved. They understand that he has not been given the ball. And I'm kind of speaking this one into existence. At home versus Atlanta, who is bottom 5 against tight ends so far this year, George Kittle could give you a nice vintage Kittle-esque day.
I love it. Let's talk about another team hemorrhaging points to the tight end. The Seattle Seahawks face the Arizona Cardinals, as you talked about with Kyler Murray. I like his tight end, Zach Ertz, in this matchup. I think those passing weapons for that offense are going to feast. There's no reason both of these guys cannot produce. And Zach Ertz against a team that is easily the top point allower, if that's what we want to deem it as.
I mean, we are beating the heck out of the Seattle Seahawks defense on this part.
We hate the Seahawks in general, but this is just unfair. They're giving us way too much
Kicking
material.
a man when he's down. Speaking of that, my wide receiver, my last big pick of the week, is Hollywood Brown going against Seattle. Number 3 in targets for wide receivers. Wide receiver 6 through 5 weeks. Nobody saw that coming. I don't think anybody saw top 6. Last week, until Hopkins comes back, Seattle's given up nothing but shootouts. 30 points per game to opposing offenses.
Oof.
31st in the NFL. Hollywood Brown feasts in his last game as the absolute alpha.
All right. Now I want you to hear me out on this last one. I want you to hear me out on my wide receiver big pick of the week. My wide receiver big pick of the week is Allen Robinson.
You come out with stink like that. Poop. Poop mouth. Poop out of your mouth.
I just please. That's my reasoning. Please.
That's it. That's all you gotta say. Please, Allen.
Hold on. Allen, please, for the love of God. When the football's thrown to you, Matt, you're over there too. Look over here. Please
Feed this
throw
man.
the football to
He's starving.
Allen. Cup has enough catches. He's running out of gloves. Allen's over here. He doesn't even remember what a football looks like. Get the man some passes. Get him on the field. Wrap him in a hug and say, I believe in you. Because I believe in you. Allen, you're number 1 in the jersey. No, I don't, but I'm going to keep going with the bit. Please. Against the Panthers at home? God, you got to smash it.
I can't.
All right,
I cannot play
that's
on
where I'm at.
Robinson until I see something.
It's
When you say please, you're hoping for what? 40 and a score?
I'm hoping for literally anything. Like any signs of life. Look,
3
you
catches
give
would be great.
Give me 5 catches, 40 yards and a touchdown, please.
All right. Seems fair
I know it's
enough.
asking a lot.
All right, we got a second half of an amazing football game to get back to.
Yeah, let's get back to that football game. I'm excited to talk about it with y'all on Twitter. Make sure you're tweeting at us at Losing Sucks on Twitter. Come visit us over at losingsucksfantasy.com. I'm Dustin Blanton. That's Travis Masterson. We are Losing Sucks. And remember, losing sucks. Don't do it.